All right. Good afternoon. All right. For now, all of you who are tried and true, you who are followers of Christ and more, who basically have given rise to all manner of religious and spiritual teachings, legislative bodies of government, law enforcement, first responders, whatever the hell you want to call yourself. Why should I actually even doubt the fact that you don't believe that I am who I say I am, when basically you were forewarned to be aware of certain people who came amongst your midst, like Jim Jones, who had a hand in killing my first cousin, and things of that nature, but at the same time, you still flock to them like, I don't know, newborn babes in search of their parents, because that's who you actually have relegated yourself to be most identified with, and you are further removed from the teachings of Christ than you even want to admit to, because the thing is, see, self-assessment and self-reflection is not always a telltale clear sign of who we really are. It's just what we've made peace with ourselves to be. So for me to sit there and say anything about you that goes against, your thick skin, or perhaps it's pretty much thin skin, pretty much is telling. You believe in spiritual gifts, you believe in psychics, you believe in mediums, you believe in more. Many of you who have been on both sides of the fence with me have seen that I can do either or the other. But at the same time, you don't know which way to turn where I'm concerned. No worries. You have time. Not a whole lot of time, but you do have time. Because the thing is, it took over 2,000 years before my father brought me back this time to survey the seeds that were once planted, and where your mindset is, and what you have made peace with, and what you say I would agree with and not. And don't get me wrong, just because I don't agree with you, I have still told the people, don't touch you. Mediums and psychics and more. Because that's surely going to be their death. But they're going to do it anyway because they're stupid. And you know they're going to do it too because you went through it before. They used to burn you at the stake. They ain't going to burn me at the stake. They hung me on a cross. But they ain't going to do that again. I have it on good authority that if they try and do some shit like that this time, well, all I have to do is sit there and say, Father, destroy them all. I ain't going to sit there and say, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, because I know damn well you always know what you do. You just don't admit to it. You admit to it later, when your ass get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. And then that's when you want to sit there and say, I'm sorry and I've turned over a new leaf. And some of you have, but some of you just use that as a plea deal to get out of certain bondage. But see, we ain't going to let that happen this time. Because I already know what my father has brought through, and I told you it was ugly. Because see, I ain't talking about last, I'm talking about the night before last. He showed me something that was akin to the zombie apocalypse. Now, if you really call yourself knowing me, you would know I don't watch shit like that on TV. Y'all like that kind of shit, Living Dead and stuff. I don't. But y'all like that shit. And you know what zombies are. They're mindless automatons that basically have nothing to think about other than consuming that which is your flesh. And once you turn, then they have no interest in you because you're one of them. That's the lore. That's the vernacular. Just like vampires. I mean, seriously. They look at you as food. They will drink your blood unless they decide that they want to have you with them for eternity, and then they'll turn you. And once they turn you, then you're one of them. But you always are beholden to the one who sired you. That's the lore. That's the mythos. That's what you subscribe to. Yeah, you said that shit ain't real. This is real as what anything else is going on in this world. Because as far as I'm concerned, I look at you when you talk about who your political affiliations with, or who your parties are with, or who you're now supporting, and basically, you stick with them through thick and thin until they turn against you, and then you have a problem. Then you cry for justice. So what did my father go over with me as he was waking my black ass up? Oh, he talked about all kind of shit. I'll get back to you. Wait a minute. No, we okay, cause see, homeboy finally did leave, but I don't know when he's coming back. And if he was like he did before, he'll come back early. But that's girlfriend. She's down the hallway. Yeah. See, I have to listen. Because certain people have a gate about them. I told you, I have many gifts. And when people come in normally, I feel their spirit coming, but at the same time, they have a gate about them, how they walk and stuff. See, this motherfucker is sneaky. He's AI. He works with artificial intelligence. He really thinks himself to be quite superior in knowing. I know this, just having a brief conversation with him. And I told you, the other guy, the guy who I know used to have this room or be in part of this room, he used to come in all the time, whether I was in there or not, to get his shit, because his shit is still in here. But he opened that door this morning, and he saw that man sitting in that chair, or in that bed, his bed, looking at his phone. And he closed that door and went back out. And then he said something to somebody out there in Russian. I know what he was talking about. He don't like him. Because he makes him uncomfortable. And rightly so. Because for one thing, that motherfucker is as smug as that motherfucker thought he was, as far as being able to go up against him. And he can't. He's teaching the owner's son how to play chess. And I told girlfriend, because she said, I want to learn chess. I said, well, maybe you can ask him. He'll teach you. And she looked at me like, Carlos, please. You know damn well I'm not going to ask that man to teach me how to... Oh, it's a game of strategy. It's a game of the mind. I mean, you're not just playing the game to win it. You actually have to know your opponent and how they play the game. And see, that's one thing y'all not paying attention to. See, I'm my father's son. Which means I don't have to actually look at you until I have to look at you. And at the same time, if something is off, all I have to do is ask the question. See, y'all go to spirit. Michelle White Dove says she goes to the Godhead or Goddess and stuff. But the thing is, since she don't know who she's talking to, she don't know who she's going to. So that means that call can be rerouted to anything and anybody. And as long as she resonates with it, she won't know what the fuck she just resonated with. Do you understand how a gift works now, people? Now, I told my father straight up, I said, I'm trying very hard. He said, you ain't done nothing but talk to me. You stop talking to angels and guides and everything else. There's people out there that talk about their guides, because that's what he talked about last night with me. Oh, I believe in guides. He said that about somebody who was possessed. I said, now, I can cast this demon out of you. But the thing is, once I do it, to what end does it result? And at the end, all he said was, I believe in guides. Really? So you don't believe in anything else that I've been talking about? No, I believe in guides. Oh, okay. But see, he was somebody who I know for a fact lied on me. In a waking state, this waking state. And he called himself being family and blood and more. Now, he don't know that I know he lied on me. But it got back to me on somebody who always has their ear to the grindstone, so to speak, and knows who's talking about who in the neighborhood, because it's always good in the neighborhood, and you need to understand who your friends are. Because even that shit with Michael Jackson, like I said, I didn't know Michael Jackson. I know he was a legend, but at the same time, I knew people did know Michael Jackson. And they said it wasn't as alleged as you think. Even though his family is sitting there saying he would never do that. And I told you why they saying it. So now, if that happens with the King of Pop, what happens with you, who are less than royal, when it comes down to what my father tells me about you? Whether I know you or not, because you profess to know me. He said 3, 2, 1. He's doing a countdown. He really is tired of you. Because I woke up this morning. I mean, he did something. I mean, literally, I felt him, his presence. And I said, wait a minute, do you have a problem with the fact that I've allowed myself to even surrender my flesh to somebody of the same sex? I said, I can work on the abstinence if that's what you want. I mean, seriously, I was having this conversation with him because he was talking about that shit. How men sit there and play around with other men and think like it ain't no big deal because they got what they wanted in the moment and stuff. And they look at it like as a dessert, a snack, a treat. They don't care about how shitty it is. They just want to enjoy. And I said, I don't even crave them like I used to since you have reclaimed my soul. And he said, and I know you understand why you saw them across all gamut as beautiful, because you were one with them. But now that you stand alone, you're like, nigga, please. There's better than you out there. Are you paying attention to me now? Because I ain't stupid. I said, I really don't want anybody, and it ain't got nothing to do with the fact that I'm worried about how they're going to treat me, because the thing is, I know I can throw a motherfucker across the room if I have to, because that man who tried to rape me that time, I threw him across the room, and it scared the shit out of him, because he didn't understand where that strength came from. He thought I was a punk. I threw him across the room, and spirit kicked in and told me, leave that door open, and you keep your eyes on those knives. And he saw me looking at those knives because he knew I was going to grab one. I was going to cut the shit out of him. I had already thrown him across the room, so he had no doubt that I could best him if I needed to. And my other little punk ass friend, when I told him about the story and how it rattled me, he was like, oh, that shit happens all the time. Nigga, that disturbed me. Oh, we know who you are. We ain't worried about that. Oh, you know who I am. Oh, yeah. We know who you are. Because, see, I had prayed to God to tell you about what I was going through because I knew I could not explain it and you would not understand. But at the same time, when I called you and you picked up the phone, the first thing you did was tell me about this dream you had, and you were explaining everything you saw in the dream, and it was everything I was trying to communicate, and I didn't know how to do it. Because that's who you are. You read from your own damn book and I'll read from mine. But you don't want me to read from your book as it applies to mine, because then that's going to be a problem. And I mean that. I only have one thing and one thing I need to do. That is to return to my father, which I've already done, to listen to what he has to say, which I am doing, and then to make sure that everybody who we promised would have safe passage with me, as long as they did the work, get it. The rest of you motherfuckers are going to go to hell. You don't know who you are yet, because there's a lot of you. That's why I was so pissed, because I said, Father, I'll never be done with this work because there's too many of them. He said, you leave that to me, because we'll do it in waves. That's why I wanted you to agree to come back, because I didn't want to overwhelm you. I told you. My father's ingenious. He's the mastermind of all masterminds, and you can't conceive of anything before he conceives of it first. Which means that you really don't have a prayer in a handbasket if you think all of a sudden you done mastered something, when he already knows what you have not done versus what you say you have done. And then you want somebody to sit there and accept that as gospel according to, what's your name? Why in the hell would I want to spend eternity with the likes of anybody who sees the blackness of my skin and not the content of my character as anything worthy of spending time with? But see, I already know white people are interesting because they always come with a different perspective, and they can teach you some shit. And it's not just necessarily something that's just white, it's just who they are, their experiences. They're not sitting there trying to denigrate that which is not them. They're trying to learn and grow from that which is not them, because they already know that they are stunted in their own damn growth if they don't allow something in perspective. But if you're going to sit there and tell me that I have to sit there and put up with the likes of Trumpettes, fuck that, the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, or anything that is so far-fetched and on one side of the spectrum versus another, no, we ain't talking. You ain't talking to me. And I don't give a fuck what oath of office you take. See, that's when you fall into that category of being a part of that Illuminati. And you have your own private agenda. We ain't doing that. You tried to use mysticism and more to control the minds of the people, like the Romans did when they started the Catholic Church. Because Christ did not start Catholicism. The Romans did. That's historical fact, and don't you dare for 1 second say that it's not. And just because you identify with it, don't mean shit to me. Black, white, whatever your hue. If that's what floats your boat, that's what floats your boat. But I'm going to tell you something. There's enough in there that you can still be good people and still get into the promised land. But you got to do the work. And you got to get past all those motherfuckers who are out there raping your kids. Good luck with that, since you seem to want to give them a pass. And I'm going to tell you something right now. In this day and age, very few people are being forgiven, and they shouldn't be. Because right now, it's all about exposure. The humanitarian age is about exposure. What you have done right and what you have done wrong. And whether or not you think you're doing something that's healing this planet, oh yeah, you are on some level. In the sense that you're exposing all kind of treachery, even as you have a hand in it. Donald Trump is exposing all kind of treachery. And just because you say you're a psychic medium and a spiritual advisor and more, don't mean shit. You're exposing that same treachery. That's just like the priests in the church. The pastors in the pulpit. You on the street, when you pull your purse close and your pet closer, as you sit there and step over somebody laying there on the street, and you don't give a fuck about their predicament until it's you. Because see, I'm going to tell you something on good authority for all you people who love your pets. There's a lot of homeless people out in the street with their dogs. Not cats, because cats really don't stick around like that. But they dogs. And the dogs are trying to stay there with them because they say, if I don't stay here with you, who will? That's more telling about you than it is about the fact that you say you're a dog lover. You are that full of shit. And my father sees it, and so do I. I keep telling him, I said, well, I guess I'll go out there. I ain't got nothing to... He said, nigga, you ain't going out there. You been out there. Why are you going out there again? That's what they want. They want proof. Oh, I'm giving proof. But it's not going to be proof to their satisfaction. Because the thing is, one thing I don't have to do to any kind of man or his mate is prove anything to their satisfaction. when they didn't take me at my word. And when he said that, I was like, oh, shit. Remind me not to get on your worst side. He said, you ain't got to worry about that because you always knew better. You tried to teach them. And they told you you was full of shit. They called you stupid nigga, criminal, crook, and all kind of shit. Even as they said they shared in your same gift and at the same time can't read a story as well as you. What did Tracy Chapman say? La da dee, la da la, la da dee, la da la. Gonna get me a fast car. You really don't want to be broken down on the side of the road as a person you thought you eclipsed passes your ass up and actually acts like they don't see you. That's coming. Get ready, people. Capiche?